at home. On biology lessons today, we'll be looking at microorganisms. And under this topic, we'll be considering the definition of what microorganisms are, the groups of microorganisms, and then for each of the groups of the microorganisms, we'll also be looking at diseases that are transmitted by these different groups of microorganisms. We'll look at their causative agents, we'll look at where are they found, where is their location in the host, and how can we prevent it. So these lessons will begin by defining what microorganisms are. Microorganisms are also called microbes, just like the word implies, micro. These are living organisms that are too tiny, that cannot be seen with the naked eye, or that are not invisible by the naked eye. So for you to view these organisms, you will need the aid of microscope. And depending on the type of microorganisms, while some can be viewed with an electron microscope, others can be viewed by light microscope, because the microorganisms vary in sizes from one group to another. And where are these microorganisms found? These microorganisms are found around us. You find them in food, you find them in the air, they are found in the soil, they are found on the dirt under our fingernails. You find them in the skin and also on decomposed organic matter. They are also found in openings in our bodies, like the mouth cavity, the air, the nose. All these are places where microorganisms are found. So thereby we can say microorganisms are found virtually everywhere. And then the next we'll be looking at is groups of microorganisms. We have 5 basic groups of microorganisms, which are: 1, we have the viruses. Number 2, we have bacteria. We also have the protozoa, and then we have some fungi. While some, because it's not all the fungi that are microorganisms. Some are microorganisms, while others are organisms that can be visible with the naked eye. When you are looking at the fungi, example of things like mushroom. Mushroom is not micro, but some group of fungi forms or falls under microorganisms. Then we also have some algae. The same thing that happens to the fungi is what happens to the algae. It's not all the algae that are micro in nature. Some algae are visible by the naked eye. And then we'll pick these groups one after the other to discuss them. The first group there is viruses. And then we're going to look at what these viruses are. These viruses are a group of microorganisms that are non-cellular organisms. What we mean by non-cellular organisms, these are organisms that don't have a cell of their own. They depend on cells of other living organisms for them to survive. For example, when you have a virus outside a living cell, that virus cannot be active and cannot be alive. So we said viruses are non-cellular organisms. That's why we call them non-cellular organisms. And because they don't have cells, they lack the component of cells like nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane, and other components of the cell, because they don't have a cell of their own. So they depend on the cell of their host for them to be active and to be alive. And then we also find out that these viruses are the tiniest group of microorganisms that are only viewed or only seen under the impact of an electron microscope. You hardly or rarely can view them with the aid of the light microscope because of their sizes. And then we move on to look at the structure of the viruses. Like we see on the diagram on the board, this is a diagram illustrating the structure of a virus. And on this diagram, the virus usually have these structures that we label. The first one there is the protein coat. The protein coat shields the inner content of the virus, preventing it from drying up. It serves as a protective shield to the inner component of the virus. And then we have a single strand of DNA. It's not all the viruses that have DNA. Some can have RNA instead of DNA, while other viruses have DNA. And like we all know, So this DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And then we have the neck of the virus. So from the protein code to the single strand of the DNA and the neck, this side of the diagram is classified as the head of the virus. Then coming down, we have the tail of the virus. Then we have the tail sheet, the sheet that protects the tail of the virus. And then we have the tail plate, the plate on which the tail is built up. And then we have fibers down here on the tail plate. And these fibers are components of the tail plate of the virus. And some diseases that are caused by the virus that affect man. And number one on the board is looking at poliomyelitis. And this poliomyelitis basically is a disease, a viral disease, mostly that affects children. And under these diseases, we'll be looking at the organisms that cause this disease, and then the mode, and then we'll look at some other things like the incubation period and the symptoms. So looking at the poliomyelitis now, the causative organism, that is the virus that causes the poliomyelitis disease, is known as the poliovirus. And then this poliovirus affects humans through, that's the mode of infection now, by drinking infected water that's already been infected by the virus. When a healthy person consumes this water, the healthy person gets the virus into his system. And also, we also have eating infected food. And also, infection can also occur from carriers, people that already have the virus in them. And then we also have breathing of infected air. These are the modes of transmission or mode of infection of poliomyelitis virus. And then the location in the host. The location talks about the organ in the host where these viruses attack. And first of all, look at under the location in the host, part of the body organs in which these viruses are found in the host include things like the spinal cord. You find also the virus in the brain. You also find the virus in the intestinal tract. You also find the virus in the bloodstream and also in the lymph glands. These are locations in the host where this virus is found once it has found penetration into the system of man. And then the next one there is the incubation period. Incubation period simply means the time elapsed in between exposure to the pathogens and when symptoms begin to appear. And then it takes about 7 to 14 days for the virus to, signs and symptoms for the virus to show in between when the person is exposed to the virus and when we begin to see the symptoms of the poliomyelitis. And the symptoms of the poliomyelitis include things like we have fever, and we also have headache, we have vomiting, and general discomfort. We can also have things like backache. We have stiffness of neck, where the neck becomes so stiff. And then we also have paralysis of what? Of muscles. The muscles of the body become paralyzed and they are inactive. And then we can also have difficulty in swallowing and breathing. Then how do we control this poliomyelitis virus? And that takes us to the control. The first one is mass vaccination. We find out that nowadays you see health workers going out in the intervals of time to give children vaccines against poliomyelitis. It's one of the vaccines that infants, young children, are administered during their vaccination. And then we also have good sanitation by both individual and public health workers. And when we're talking about sanitation, it includes things like washing of our hands before eating, washing of our hands after attending the toilet, washing of our hands when we come in, and then these are the simple sanitation we can do. Also, proper handling of our food, because we look at it as infected food is one of the modes of transmission of the virus. We can properly handle our food and our drinking water to be able to control the virus. We also have the second, apart from the poliomyelitis, we also have the second viral disease that we're considering is infective hepatitis, which is also known as jaundice. And this infective hepatitis is caused by a causative agent, virus. And then the mode of infection of this infective hepatitis is by breathing air that is already infected with the virus, and also drinking water and milk that is already infected by the virus. And we also have eating of infected food, just as we have in the poliomyelitis disease. And then the location of this virus, when it enters the system of a healthy person, the virus is located in the liver of the individual. And we know that the liver carries out so many functions. Functions like detoxification, whereby the liver helps detoxify harmful substances in the body. And then we find out that once this virus is found in the liver, it affects the function of the liver. And then the incubation period, the period time elapsed in between when the individual is exposed to the virus and the appearance of the symptoms in infective hepatitis is in between 10 to 40 days. The individual begins to manifest the symptoms of the infective hepatitis. And also we see the symptoms include things like headache, the individual will have fever, also experience vomiting, abdominal pain, liver will enlarge, and then we have presence of bile in the urine. Bile is usually excreted or stored in the bile duct, but in patients that have infective hepatitis, you see presence of bile in their urine, and also we have loss of appetite. The individual will not be able to have appetite to consume food, and that will also lead to emaciation or loss of weight. And then after that, we now move down to the control. That's the next. How do we control this infective hepatitis? The first one there is isolation of patients. People that are already showing the symptoms, if an individual begins to manifest the symptom of infective hepatitis, the next thing to do is to isolate, take out that individual from the population so that other members of the population are not infected. And then we also have disinfection of stool. Stool of the patient that has been excreted will have to be disinfected, especially in areas where we have open defecation. Then we also have strict sanitation, whereby we have to wash our hands before eating, wash our hands after eating, wash our hands after attending to toilet, and then we have other measures of keeping our environment clean. And then the next one there is hepatitis patients must not be allowed to donate blood, because once they donate blood to a patient that requires blood, you find out that the virus will be transferred from the blood of the person that donated the blood to the person that requires the blood, and that makes the person to become infected with the virus hepatitis. The third disease now, third viral disease we're considering is the common acquired immune deficiency viral disease, which is commonly known as the AIDS. And then this disease is caused by a virus known as the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. It's HIV virus that causes the disease AIDS. The disease is called AIDS, while the virus that causes the disease is called HIV. And then this common HIV disease is transmitted through, number one, sexual intercourse with an infected person. And then number two, we have by transfusion of blood of an HIV-infected person to an uninfected person. Whenever an uninfected person requires blood, and then someone that is already infected donates blood to the person, because this disease, the host is usually found in the blood of the infected person ends up affecting the uninfected person during transfusion. And then we also have using unsterilized infected needles. And then we also have things like clipper, razor blade that are not sterilized. Once an infected person uses this object and they are already infected, if an uninfected person should come and use this sharp object, especially where there's a cut in the individual's body that has to expose it to the blood, and then your blood comes in contact with the blood of an infected person, you become infected. Then we also have from infected mother to her baby during birth, where you have mixture of the maternal blood with the infantile blood or the fetal blood. If that happens, you find out that the baby becomes infected. Or during breastfeeding after birth, the child that is being fed by the breast of the infected mother will get the virus through the breast milk. And then the next one there is location in the host. Like I said, the method location of the host, that's the HIV virus, is the blood. We also find it in the semen of males, and then you see it in the vaginal secretions of females, and also in the breast milk, like I said. The symptoms of HIV virus, there are so many symptoms of this disease. We're going to mention but a few. The first one there is loss of weight greater than 10%. The individual will lose weight, become emaciated. Number 2 of the symptoms of the HIV human immune virus, which causes the AIDS, that's acquired immune deficiency syndrome disease, is fever longer than 1 month. Once you are exposed to the virus, one of the symptoms is that, another symptom is that the individual will experience fever, and that fever will last for like more than 1 month. Then number 3, the individual will also experience chronic diarrhea, and this diarrhea will persist for a period of months or longer than 1 month. And then number 4, you also have persistent fatigue constantly, which is prolonged. You always get tired easily, and it's not going to be something that is for a short period of time. It's going to persist. And then we also have rashes all over the body of the patient or the sufferer. And these are some of the symptoms. We have other ones apart from these ones that we have. Then the next one there is how do we control the disease AIDS that is caused by the human immune deficiency virus. Number 1 is national mass campaign to educate everyone of the danger of HIV, that's the human immunodeficiency virus. People need to be enlightened. They need to know how this disease is transmitted from an unhealthy person to a healthy person. So we need to carry out a mass campaign to educate people on how this virus is gotten, how does it spread, and then how it can be controlled. Then number 2, use the condom when having sexual intercourse. This mode of control is not 100% efficient because the condom can burst. And if the condom eventually bursts, you're going to have release of the semen from the condom to the sexual organ of the female, and if the person is infected, the individual can also get the infection. So it's not a 100% way of controlling the virus. Then the next one there is keep to one faithful partner. People that are married should stick to their partners. No having multiple partners. No sleeping outside. So be faithful to your partner. Then number 4, blood must be screened to avoid transfusing infected blood. If someone is sick and he needs blood to be transfused to him, any blood that must be donated by the donor must have to undergo screening to make sure that the blood that is being transfused is free of the virus HIV. Otherwise, the uninfected person might get the virus. And then number 5, which is very important, is abstain from sexual intercourse until you are married. Abstinence is the surest and the most important way of controlling HIV. If we can abstain from sex and also keep faithful to one partner, I think we'll bid farewell to the HIV virus. And with this, we have come to the end of our lessons on some viral diseases of man. And by the way of summary, we looked at some viral diseases that are common to man. And we started by looking at the first one we looked at under the viral disease that is affecting man. We look at hepatitis, which is also called jaundice. And we say that this jaundice usually is accompanied by yellow coloration of skin and of eyes, usually in newborn children. And then we also looked at HIV, which is also a sexually transmitted disease that is caused by a virus. This one is under the major cause or the major way of contracting HIV is through sexual intercourse with an infected person. That is why you always see people saying HIV is a sexually transmitted disease. Other modes of getting the virus, like using of sharp, unsterilized objects, are not very common. Majority of the people that contract the virus got it through sexual intercourse with an infected person. And we looked at some symptoms of the disease and also ways of controlling the disease. So before our next class, we'll take our assignments now. The assignment for the next class is number one. Okay, the assignments on the board. We have assignments for us on the board to carry out before our next class. The assignment will be submitted on my WhatsApp number. Discuss the following viral disease under the following headings. These are the viral diseases, about 4 of them, under the following headings, just as the way we did on the other ones we have discussed. And we will get to meet ourselves in the next class. And I will get my assignments in my WhatsApp number on the screen.